Hello all, welcome to the new Simply Put series by Kalamais Academy. This is Priyanka Mahapatra, faculty at Kalamais. So today we'll be having a discussion on the newspaper dated 10th January 2024. So the text in the context section of the Hindu newspaper was having an article about the Project Tiger. This is important from my exam point of view. Again, coming to the explain section of the Indian Express newspaper, we were having two articles very important. That is about the minority character of minority educational institutions like AMU, and second about a giant radio telescope and how India has decided to join the Square Kilometer Array project. So these are the three articles we are going to discuss today, which are displayed on your screen. So the first article is about the Square Kilometer Array project. So what is this Square Kilometer Array project? This is about bringing the world's largest radio telescope. It's an international science collaboration working towards building the world's largest radio telescope. And finally, India has decided to join formally this project. And what is the significance of India joining it? We'll be discussing then. So before this radio telescope, we were having another radio telescope, which was the second largest single dish radio telescope in the world. That is Arecibo telescope in Puerto Rico, which got collapsed in the year 2020, which was built in the year 1963. So therefore, we are bringing in the world's largest telescope, radio telescope, through the project Square Kilometer Array project. So what is the criteria of getting the full member status? What India did here to get into the full member status? First is that it requires the countries whosoever is willing to get into the full member status, it has to sign and ratify an international treaty. That is Square Kilometer Array Observatory Convention. So what is this convention about? It is an international treaty that established the facility Square Kilometer Array Observatory as an intergovernmental organization. Very, very important aspect which can be asked in the prelims examination. It is not a private organization. Okay, it is not a non-governmental organization. It is an intergovernmental organization. Okay, which has been established through an international treaty, that is SKA Observatory Convention. Second is that the countries whosoever is getting full member status has to make a financial commitment. In case of India, it is 1250 crores, which India has committed for the project. Right? These are the two criteria which are necessary for getting into the full member status of the project. Then the question comes that why radio waves? Why are we interested in making the radio wave telescope? Because of its longer wavelengths. Why not optical telescope? Because it is having a longer wavelength than the visible light, which is enabling it to penetrate into the various celestial objects through various dust and debris. Therefore, it enables the astronomers to peer into the regions of space which were not possible by other observatories till date. Okay, so radio waves are of big advantage because of their much longer wavelengths. Remember, let's now come to the details of the SKA project, which is very, very important from your exam point of view. So first is that it has been proposed to be the largest radio telescope in the world. And when we are telling that it is the largest radio telescope in the world, it is not referring to any single large telescope at one place, but it will be a collection of thousands of dish antennas operating as a single unit. So it will be a collection of thousands of dish antennas which are placed in a specific design or over an effective area of 1 square kilometer, and it would be operating as a single unit. So here the intent is to create 1 square kilometer of effective area, that is 1 million square meter. For collecting the radio waves, and how to achieve that? By installing thousands of smaller antennas in that effective area in a specific array design so that it functions like a single radio telescope. And the result is that we are getting 5 to 60 times more powerful device than the most advanced existing radio telescopes till date. And this would allow us to study the universe and its evolution, the origin and evolution of the cosmic magnetism, the dark energy, the evolution of the galaxies, the neutron star physics, and the solar sciences. Okay, so this is to study the universe. And the headquarter of this project would be in United Kingdom. What is the status as of now? Some of the antennas, like 200 of them, have been established in the Karoo Desert of South Africa, and some of the antennas, like 130,000 of them, have been established in Australia, and they have been installed in very sparsely populated locations, very far away from the human activities as possible. And here you can notice that all the sites that are designed or that are selected are lying in the southern hemisphere. So why southern hemispheres? Because it will give a clear view of the entire Milky Way, which is not possible from the northern hemisphere. Okay, so this is then comes the significance of India joining it. How will it help the India scientific community? First is that we would be getting greater scientific opportunities to use the facility. India will have a preferential access since it has made financial commitment to it. So it will get some preferential access. And this preferential access in terms of preferential allocation of time on the radio telescope will be given in proportion to their contribution to the project. Then India has already decided to build the gravitational wave detector to join the International LIGO, Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory Network. Also, India is a full member of the ITER project, which is working to harness energy from the nuclear fusion reactions. It has also got strong participation in the Large Hadron Collider project, the world's largest and the most powerful particle accelerator that is running some of the most exciting experiments in the particle physics. And we have also a previous experience on radio telescopes. We have already a giant meter wave radio telescope located near Pune. Also, we have radio telescopes in Ooty, Nainital, and Bangalore. So, seeing this previous experience and our participation in other similar projects, we are having a greater opportunity to use the upcoming facility. Again, coming to the technological benefits, the intellectual properties generated by the project, though it is owned by the observatory, would be accessible to all the member countries. It will be a big learning opportunity for all the scientists, academics, and even the private industry. Even there will be a large capacity building and training opportunities for the scientist community. Okay, so we will be basically expanding the science and technology base of our country. So though none of the SK facilities would be located in India, but there are immense gains similar to LHC or the ITER, which too are located on foreign soil. Okay, so these projects are located on foreign soil, but still they are of much utility to India's scientific community. Okay, so these are the how India is involved from the very beginning. From the inception, it is involved in this project since 1990s. Again, it has also contributed towards the design and development of the telescope, also negotiating the provisions of the convention, SK Observatory Convention. Again, it has also contributed towards the development and operation of the neural network or the software that is running the entire facility now, called the Telescope Manager. Also, there are plans to set up an SKA regional center. And the regional center, if it comes into reality, then it will be a part of the global network to process and store all kinds of data and make it available to the scientific community of the world. And coming to the department, which department of ministry is responsible for it? Department of Atomic Energy and Department of Science and Technology, which is responsible for this project. Okay, so this is all about the details of the Square Kilometer Array project. You need to know the India significance, the significance of India joining it, very, very important. It can be a lone question in your mains. Okay, and all the details which we studied are eligible to come in the prelims as well. Then we come to the next article, that what is a long running legal dispute over the AMU's minority character. So this long running legal dispute that we are talking about over the AMU's minority character, it dates back almost 57 years now, and it has been adjudicated upon multiple times by different courts. Similarly, a 7-judge bench of the Supreme Court on Tuesday started hearing the matter pertaining to AMU's minority character again. So here we would be discussing all the constitutional provisions that are in favor of giving minority status to any educational institution, and what are the arguments against, and what is the history of events regarding giving the AMU's minority character. So first is that any minority character to an educational institution is guaranteed under Article 30. Article 31 of the Constitution, it empowers that all religious and linguistic minorities, they have their right to establish and administer their educational institutions. And the whole aim here is to foster the growth and development of the minority communities. And also in Article 30, it has been said that there has to be no discrimination in giving aid on the basis of there being the minority institution. So again, it is a commitment towards fostering growth and development of those minority communities. So when and how AMU was set up, it can be traced back to Muhammadan Anglo-Oriental College established by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan in 1875. And the aim was to help Muslims overcome their educational backwardness and prepare for government services. Right. And what are minority educational institutions for that matter? They are any colleges or institutions that are established by a minority group to protect and promote their culture and traditions. And currently, the National Commission for Minority Educational Institutions Act has been enacted to safeguard the educational rights of the minorities under Article 31 of the Constitution. Okay, so these are details you need to know from your exam. Then we come to the special rights enjoyed by the minority educational institutions. First is right to education. Right to education has been accorded a fundamental right. Second is under Article 15(5), the educational institutions, they cannot be considered for the reservation of the socially backward section of the society like OBC, SC, ST. Okay, so they cannot be considered for the reservation. Third is that in case the property is taken over by the state, due compensation has to be provided to them in order to establish the institutions elsewhere. Fourth is under RT, as you know, that 25% of the enrollment has to be reserved for the economically backward section of the society. But here, the minority educational institutions, they are not required to provide such reservation. Okay, to the children in the age group of 6 to 14 years. Right, so these are the special rights enjoyed by the minority educational institutions. And there are various Supreme Court cases which accords the special rights. For example, in St. Stephen's versus Delhi University case in 1992, Supreme Court has ruled that the minority educational institutions can have 50% of the seats reserved for only minorities. Again, in TMA Pi and others versus State of Karnataka and others 2002 case, Supreme Court has ruled that the minority educational institutions can have separate admission process. They can have their own fee structure that is fair, transparent and merit based, but they should not charge the capitation fee. Okay, so these cases and the provisions of the Constitution, they allow the special rights to be enjoyed by the minority educational institutions. Then we come to the series of events why the debate is around, why the legal dispute is around the AMU's minority character. We'll see into the series of events. So first, this debate started in 1967 in the S. Aziz Basha case. So here, Supreme Court for the first time said that AMU was neither established nor administered by the Muslim minority. From the provisions of AMU Act 1920, it is not clear that it is a minority institution. Hence, it cannot be accorded a minority character. So first case is this. In 1967, we got that AMU is not a minority educational institution. Then comes 1981. Government tried to overturn this verdict. It introduced an amendment to the AMU Act following various protests by the Muslim community. So it introduced an amendment to the AMU Act reaffirming its minority status, explicitly affirming its minority status. It gave minority status to the AMU by introducing an amendment to the AMU Act. Then in 2005, AMU implemented a reservation policy where it reserved 50% of its seat in the postgraduate medical courses for the Muslim candidates only. Again in the same year, 2005, Allahabad High Court, it overturned this reservation of 50% of the seats given to the Muslim candidates, and it nullified at the same time the 1981 Act which gave the minority status to the AMU, thus aligning with the 1967 Supreme Court judgment that AMU cannot be said as a minority institution, right? Then in 2016, NDA government, it informed the Supreme Court that it wants to withdraw the appeal filed by the government, saying that the executive government at the center cannot be seen as setting up a minority institution in a secular state. So this was the main argument of the NDA government to withdraw the appeal filed by the government. Then in 2019, a three-judge bench presided by the then Chief Justice of India Ranjan Gogoi, it referred the matter to the seven-judge bench. And in 2024, we have started hearing the case recently. So here, now we will see that what is coming, how the parameters are decided in order to give an institution as a minority status. Okay, so this needs to be seen. So let's discuss some arguments which are in favor of giving minority status. So as we discussed, under Article 31, it confers the rights on the religious and linguistic minorities to establish their educational institutions. Okay, in Aziz Basha case, 1968, it has accepted that universities, they can come under the definition of educational institution. It is not only the schools and colleges that can be defined as educational minority educational institution under Article 30. Universities can also come. Okay, then under Article 25(2)(a), state can make laws to regulate or restrict the non-secular activities of a religion. Okay? So that's how it can also make any non-secular activity of a religion by establishing or by according an institution as minority institution, minority educational institution. Then Article 30, the Supreme Court has said in TMA Pi Foundation case that Article 30 cannot be viewed in isolation and it has to be read along with Article 26A, where it is saying that religious denominations can establish their institutions for religious and charitable purposes. And here AMU has been involved with charitable work because it has been doing commendable work in social sciences, in imparting education to the Muslim youth. Okay, so this is a charity that they are doing. Okay, so that is how it is coming under the definition of under the understanding of the minority educational institution. Then what are the arguments against the minority status? So that is given under Article 27. Please remember from your mains point of view, where it is said that no proceeds of any taxes shall be utilized for promotion or maintenance of any particular religion or religious denomination. And AMU was receiving funds from the state. So here it is violating the Article 27, which says that no taxes can be utilized for the promotion and maintenance of the particular religion. Okay, so these are the arguments you should be knowing for and against giving the minority status to any educational institution. So the hearing is very crucial this time in determining the future of AMU's minority character. Okay, and it has implications, it has deep implications for the minority rights in India under Article 31, which needs to be seen. So there comes the end of this discussion. Then we come to the third article, that is about the Project Tiger. So the Project Tiger has completed 50 years, but now it is in a tough spot. Why it is in a tough spot? Because of the continuous conflicts between the forest authorities and the local communities living in those areas. We are continuously violating the Wildlife Protection Act and the Forest Rights Act because we are demarcating the areas just to have the number of tiger reserves counted. We are having the maximum tiger reserves, we are having the maximum tigers. For that, we are hurriedly demarcating areas like critical tiger habitats, but that is coming up without any proper consultation of the forest dwellers in that area, which is violating the Forest Rights Act. No consent has been taken from the people who are dwelling over there, who are staying over there. No consent is been taken while displacing those people to other areas from the core zone. So this case study, you can quote it in answers related to the wildlife conservation, to the issues in wildlife conservation, or in the answers related to the issues in the tribal rights, issues in the Forest Rights Act. Just you have to write this case study in a passing reference, that how we are demarcating the areas like critical tiger habitats without proper consultation and consent of the forest dwellers. We are violating the Forest Rights Act. Though we are having a good image worldwide that we have expanded the tiger reserve significantly, we have achieved this number, okay, in terms of the number of tigers, in terms of area covered. But again, there has been a rise in conflict between the local authorities, the local communities, and the forest authorities. So there has been a governance problem, there has been a Forest Rights Act violation happening. So though we are expanding the reserves, the tiger reserves, but we are not taking into account the conflict that is continuing to increase day by day. And rest of the data or the facts you are studying already in your environment classes, that how the first tiger census was done in 1972. And again, that thereafter we launched the Project Tiger in 1973 and introduced the tiger reserves. Okay, so the facts and figures, they are not important from your exam point of view, but the basic idea about this violation, which you can quote as a direct case study in your answer. Okay, so this was all about today's discussion. Again, the short notes of this video discussion will be provided in our Telegram channel, that is Kalamayas Academy. The link for joining that channel will be provided in the description box. Do join us, and tomorrow we'll be having the next newspapers discussion. Till then, goodbye, take care, happy learning.